This event happened in 2007 when I was 16 years old in our detached house just outside a town in the county of Surrey in southern England. My parents had gone to attend a gala held at a nearby hotel that night. Only I and our dog, Buster, were home. It was around 11:30 p.m. I was chatting with my friends on my computer while also watching videos on YouTube. Right at that moment, I heard Buster start barking in the living room. I thought to myself that my parents must have arrived, but a minute passed, then 2, then 3. The door still hadn't opened. Buster was still barking toward the window. I got up and went to the living room to check. Buster was standing fixed toward the windows overlooking the garage and the garden, still barking. I tried to look out the window, but it was pitch black outside. Not even a street lamp was visible. I could only see that our car was not in the garage, meaning my family had not yet returned. A car must have passed by on the road, I said to myself, as our house was close to the road. I calmed Buster down and returned to my room, but a few minutes later, he started barking again. After a while, I heard a light tapping sound from the living room. It was as if someone was lightly pushing the glass with their finger. I got up, my heart was racing. I walked slowly to the living room and approached the window. Again, there was nothing. It was silent outside and not even the wind was blowing. But I had a feeling that someone was watching me. I made sure the door was locked. Just as I was about to return to my room, a sound came from the side door, a clear, rhythmic knocking. My heart jumped into my throat. I froze for a moment. Could it be my parents? I thought, but it was impossible for them to return at that hour. At that moment, Buster started barking like crazy again. He wasn't just barking, he was growling in a way I had never heard before. Suddenly, sounds began coming from different parts of the house. Rattling from the side door and footsteps from downstairs as if someone was forcing the basement door. It was so distinct that Buster suddenly bolted down the stairs. Our basement was entered through a hidden door at the back of the house overlooking the garden. To reach it, one had to walk around the house to the back, almost through the bushes. In other words, only someone who knew the layout of the house could find that door. While Buster was barking frantically downstairs, I remained frozen upstairs. Then suddenly, Buster's voice turned into a snarl and abruptly cut off. That silence was more terrifying than anything else. Finally, acting on reflex, I pulled the inner bolt of the downstairs door and ran upstairs. My phone was in my room. I didn't have a cell phone back then. I picked up the house phone. Buster had also come back up to me by then. His fur was still bristling and he was staring at the door. Just as I was about to call the police, the front door opened. Buster lunged and I screamed no, but the ones entering were my parents. I felt such a relief that my knees nearly buckled. My father immediately took his gun and searched the whole house, including the basement, but no one was there. The next day in the afternoon, the doorbell rang. My heart started racing again. My uncle Arthur came inside. Arthur was a strange man. He always acted a bit unsettling. He had never done anything openly malicious to us, but everyone kept their distance from him. There was always a strange expression on his face, as if he were hiding something. He talked with my father at the door while we listened from the living room. Arthur was saying, "I stopped by last night, but no one was home. I was going to leave an envelope, but it turns out you were out." My father's voice rose, and they argued for a while. My father slammed the door shut and handed me the envelope. Inside was a thank you card from my cousin Emily. She was thanking me for helping her with her lessons. So my uncle had come to the house at that hour just to leave this card. But why at that hour? Why did he tap on the windows and try to force the basement door instead of ringing the bell? That day, my father told him, "Don't ever come near this house again." And we never saw him again after that. Even now, it makes me shudder when I think about it. The person circling the house that night and driving the dog crazy was my uncle. If Buster hadn't scared him off, maybe he would have broken in. Why did he come there at that hour? Why did he lurk secretly around the house? And most importantly, what would have happened if Buster hadn't gone downstairs that night? We have reached the end of another story. See you in another video and another story. Wishing you a good and beautiful life.